A reading from the Gospel of Luke. Jesus said to the crowds, "When you see a cloud rising in the west, you immediately say, 'It is going to rain,' and so it happens. And when you see the south wind blowing, you say, 'There will be scorching heat,' and it happens. You hypocrites, you know how to interpret the appearance of earth and sky, but why do you not know how to interpret the present time? And why do you not judge for yourselves what is right? Thus, when you go with your accuser before a magistrate, on the way make an effort to settle the case. Or you may be dragged before the judge, and the judge hand you over to the officer, and the officer throw you in prison. I tell you, you will never get out until you have paid the very last penny." Well, of course, everyone can judge what is right. Once we get beyond childhood, and that's not to say children don't have moral value and judgment, but certainly as functioning adults, one of the things which distinguishes us as being people of reason is some ability to develop a moral conscience, and by it also to judge the signs of the times. Wake up, Jesus is saying. Get beyond small talk. Difficult. We Brits rather like talking about the weather, and when I came here 7 years ago, I realised it's a trait shared with quite a few Chicagoans. But Jesus is saying both get beyond small talk, get beyond deliberate nonsense that you sometimes use as a barrier between where you are and where you should be and what you should be doing. Get on with living out God-shaped lives that show the good news to those around you. And if you live lives like that, you have to make judgment calls, because it is impossible to live life without it. Jesus knows full well that his hearers are perfectly capable of working out how to make a judgment call, but they are allowing other things to get in the way of that, and thus to get in the way of living lives well-pleasing to God. These words are challenging because they call us out of complacency. A couple of weeks ago in church, Father Lister, preaching about Lazarus and the rich man, talked about the complacency tax that we all sometimes find ourselves paying. Those words have stayed with me, and Jesus is certainly challenging the complacency tax mentality that he finds all too much around him, that he finds with people who should know better and who would want to be his followers, if only they can conquer what holds them back and properly accept and live out good news. Let's make sure we are not complacent. Let's make sure we are aware of how to discern God's will and how to exercise judgment of a kind that God would approve of. And let's live out lives that follow Christ fully and thoroughly. Amen.